Hi, River. Since you're working extra hours tonight, I thought I'd keep myself busy by checking out that new kebab shop. I've heard good things about their menu. I'll test it out, and if it's as good as everyone's saying, let's go back together sometime. P.S. New stash from the Universitas Magistrorum. I brought some goodies home. A few teacups and a pin rack. Hope you like them.
They didn't sign their name. But they must have been close. Sounds like they were living together.
I went over to Joseph's for drinks today. They have a fine collection, but I went alone. Felindis was tied up with something and couldn't make it. Joseph asked why I came alone, but I didn't really have an answer. He then went on to ask about other things. If you ask me, someone who asks that many personal questions is too nosy for their own good. But if he invites me again, chances are I'd still go.
Felindis. That's the same name Rerir mentioned.
Crane imports keep falling. If things don't pick up, we'll soon be back to meat and mushrooms only. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of that new type of mushroom everyone's been into lately. Didn't it start out as a lab-grown variety? I heard it's even mildly corrosive. Seriously, why would you even eat something like that? I don't care if it's an impressive feat of alchemy. That just isn't the kind of thing I like to eat.
Grain has to be imported, and they're eating a diet of mostly meat and mushrooms. Could it be because Conria is underground, so it doesn't get much sunlight? That would explain why they use so much stone in their buildings. They even use alchemically modified strains for food. Seems like the people of Conria don't have many options when it comes to dining.
I've just about saved up enough now. Time to buy it and keep it somewhere safe.
Making a big purchase. I wonder what it is. He really is a professional. No wonder he's so good at covering his tracks. Despite what he's become, it seems like he's retained certain habits, at least in this regard. Did Rerir rip it out himself?
Before I met you, I was convinced that my heart was nothing more than a stagnant pool. The burial place of a fallen moon. A withered, windless grove where the waters rested forever unrippled. It was you who helped me see that my heart hadn't entirely withered away. That it could still beat to the rhythm of love.
This is just trivial sentimentality from the looks of it. Why would he go to the trouble of hiding that? The burial place of a fallen moon.
Rerir, over here.
Dane! Oh, and, Vedelson here? What a surprise to see you here, sir.
Hello there, Rerir. You need not address me so formally outside of court. He doesn't get that much free time, so I invited him over for a drink. Even the court prophet deserves a break every now and then, right?
Well, I'm flattered.
So, what are we discussing today?
Hey, don't look at me. As far as I see it, We don't need an excuse to have a few drinks.
Come on, don't give us that. Didn't you say you were about to pop the big question? How's that coming along?
Who'd have thought the great Twilight Sword was an even greater gossip?
I just didn't expect you to be the first one to settle down and get married, that's all.
Yeah. If you told me that a few years ago, I wouldn't have believed you either.
So, are you planning to come clean about your job then? I'm guessing you still haven't told her.
Sure, I'll have to tell her at some point. But I'll need to pick the right time and place. To be honest, I have no idea how she'll take it.
Come on, stop being such a pessimist. For all you know, she could be thrilled. I bet she'll be much more impressed by your actual job than the one she thinks you're doing now. A member of the King's Guard. Quite the cover story. Does the king himself even know?
Of course he does. Anyway, enough about me. How have you been?
Me? Same old, same old. Nothing much to... Huh? What's up, Ved?
It's nothing.
Vedifulnir, Daneslif's elder brother. Renowned throughout the court of Conria as the Visionary, and said to possess a wisdom far beyond the reach of any ordinary man. And yet, despite the gulf between us, he seems to have something to say about me. Does he even know me? Does he see me as a friend of his brother, or just another of the Vinster King's blades? Why did he react so strongly? Was it really to do with what we were talking about?
Brown, curly hair and brooding blue eyes. So this is what Rarier looked like back in the day. Perfectly normal. No different from anyone else. As frightening as this monster is in the present, there's something even more unsettling about seeing the human he used to be.
Felindis? You're back early?
Our equipment's being serviced today, so I got off earlier than usual. How's your day been? Aw, why the long face? Is something the matter? Has your boss been giving you a hard time again?
Went for a drink with Dane and the others after work.
Isn't that a good thing?
Vedifulnir showed up today, too. You know, Daneslif's older brother.
Ah, Mr. Vedifulnir. Yes, I've heard of him. They say that everything he says ends up coming true.
He overheard Daneslif mention that I'd recently proposed, and seemed to have an issue with it. But when I asked what it was, he kept it to himself.
So, you're worried? You can be such a child sometimes, Rarier. We're nobodies. Why would the Visionary be concerned about us? I'm sure someone in his position has much bigger fish to fry.
Maybe you're right.
You worry too much, Rarier. We've been together for ages now, and everything's been going so well, has it not? You've even proposed to me.
So, you do remember. Tell me then. What's your answer?
Like I said, I need some time to decide. You can't just rush into things like this. We may be nobodies in the grand scheme of things, but if we want things to work out, we've still got to plan ahead.
All right. Take your time. Just don't keep me waiting forever. Nobodies. Sounds about right. In the eyes of people like Vedifulnir and Daneslif, what do we matter? Can someone whose gaze is so fixed on a far-flung future even see the present clearly? Besides, the dynasty's fate rests with the king and his inner circle. Whatever I do, it won't make much difference. Meanwhile, every idea they come up with and every decision they make, it affects everything. These days, the king is lost in his research, and the purge of the Crimson Moon bloodline grows ever more intense. The opposition tried to speak out, but nothing came of it. And I'm under no illusions as to why. Because we eliminated them and got rid of their bodies. A man can have 1,000 reasons to carry a sword, but there are few good excuses to use it. Yet the king has never even considered a gentler approach, and he never will. What becomes of someone who kills on another's behalf? Can he ever find true peace? Thelindis? It's nothing. You were right. Fate has never smiled upon nobodies like us. But by the same token, it's unlikely to bear a grudge against us either. There's no reason we can't keep living happily together, cherishing the simple joys of each day as they come.
See? You just need to stay positive, Revere. I can feel your warmth, your breath. You're right there, right by my side. Just seeing you makes me happy in a way I can't explain. And that's something that no one could ever take away from me. So smile, my love. Let go of that frown.
You're right, Thelindis. I've just been overthinking things.
That's better. Getting caught up about things like this will only ruin our evening. Speaking of which, all set for the ball tonight? I need to go get ready.
You go ahead. I just have a few things to take care of, then I'll come join you.
Even busier than the big shots, huh? Fine, I'll go get started. But don't be late. If you keep me waiting too long, I won't be a happy bunny.
Relax. I'll be there. Seriously, though, you drive a hard bargain. You're really gonna leave my proposal hanging and still expect me to take you to the ball?
Well, that goes without saying. I already told everyone I'd be coming with a dance partner. Besides, they're two completely different things. Let's take it one thing at a time, all right?
All right. White outfit it is.
It seems like Rerir was deliberately hiding his ties to the intelligence services by giving the impression that he was just an ordinary member of the Venster King's Guard. He clearly doesn't want his would-be fiancée to know about his other life. Then again, that's hardly surprising. People in the intelligence trade rarely do. Who'd have thought we were in the same line of work? Let's dig a little deeper.
Our last operation was a resounding success, and all thanks to you, Rehir of Solnari. In total, we apprehended 32 dregs of the Crimson Moon, and 67 accomplices.
After all these years since the dynasty's fall, so many of them still linger on.
Indeed, it cannot be denied. Yet it was destiny that the Crimson Moon should be overcome by the eclipse, and that His Majesty, the all-seeing Venster King, now guides our nation on the path to prosperity. Canria has no further need for a dead moon. But alas, there will always be those who refuse to see the truth, choosing instead to romanticize the past.
That's not entirely true. Much about the Crimson Moon era was worthy of remembrance. And that's exactly why they keep trying to see it restored. Many of its secrets remain unsolved to this day. As it happens, that's precisely the field of study my partner is devoted to.
You still haven't told her what you really do for a living.
Where would I even start? How do you tell someone that you're one of the king's hand-picked executioners? That your hands are steeped in blood?
You didn't choose this life, any more than I did. Orphans like us don't get a say.
But I'll sure as heck be the one to pay for it. Speaking of which, we need to be more rigorous in the way we identify direct descendants of the Crimson Moon. Someone, it seems, has strong opinions about my future plans. Most likely my marriage in particular. I have a feeling that we may soon become targets of the Crimson Moon's retribution.
Your concerns are not unfounded. They've taken out many of our colleagues these past few years, and for that very reason. These are no helpless lambs we're leading to the slaughter. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. Take care, Rehir of Solnari. I look forward to toasting you at your wedding.
Thanks, Thorkel. You look after yourself, too. Thelindis, I never wanted to keep this from you. You're the last person I would ever want to lie to. But that's exactly why I can't tell you everything. There are things you shouldn't know. Things you cannot know. The moonlit dynasties are a thing of the past. Yet even now, with the sun shining high in the sky, there are those who would call forth a dead moon's ghost. Could that be why Vedalfnir held back? Or was it because of some court secret he's not at liberty to share? I have to get a clear answer from him. No matter what happens, I will protect Thelindis.
Rehir seems to be very concerned by Vedalfnir's reaction. Vedalfnir and Dainsleif, the Visionary and Twilight Sword. So that's what they were really like. I've investigated this whole area now. There doesn't seem to be any other memories here. Should I try somewhere else? Wait a second. What's this black smoke?
So, he's late after all. Just you wait, Rehir. You're in for it. Big time.
Are you waiting for someone, ma'am? Could I tempt you into buying some flowers?
Oh, sure. Pick me out a pretty bunch if you would.
Thank you. But I'm afraid none of them are as pretty as you.
For someone so young, you sure have a way with words, don't you?
I'm only telling the truth. Look me in the eyes. You'll see I'm not lying.
You're...
May we have a word in private?
Who are you? And what do you want?
It doesn't matter who I am. Too many of our kind have fallen lately, so I decided to take the risk of reaching out. Not long ago, the Rehir of Solnari led an assault on one of our strongholds. We suffered many casualties, and many who came to our aid lost their lives as well.
Sorry, I don't know why you're telling me this. And I don't want to get involved.
Wait, hear me out. This time we finally got a clear look at his face and learned his true identity. His name is Rehir, and he claims to be one of the King's guards.
What did you say?
A cruel irony, isn't it? The man you're set to marry leads a double life as a brutal executioner. But surely, you must have caught a whiff of the blood on his hands.
Why are you telling me all of this now?
Simple. It's because...
How strange. Rehir was nowhere to be seen in that memory. It clearly belonged to Thelindis. Rehir couldn't possibly know what happened if he wasn't even there. Why would her memories appear in his fragment? The ceremony won't last much longer. I think it's time to call it a day.
So that was your doing? Did you just pull us inside Rehir's fragment to spy directly on his memories?
Any more questions, and I'll have to start charging.
I had no idea you could do that, boss! Seriously, that was amazing! We're not worthy. We're not worthy! I gotta admit, though, I'm itching to see what happens next. Feels like we barely scratched the surface.
I'm just as curious as you are, but the ceremony only allows for limited time inside. That's all we can see for now. Luckily, we managed to learn quite a lot.
So far, so good. I just hope the others are doing okay too. Especially the group with the Traveler. Their mission is a risky one. Let's hope it's all going smoothly.
If you're worried about them, go see how they're doing.
If I know Boss, she's gonna need some time to write up all the details and make sure it's all coherent. I'll stay behind to lend a hand, but feel free to head back and meet up with the others.
Oh, they've been prowling around for nearly 2 days now. These things just won't quit. Oh, they might not have seen us yet, but with them constantly sweeping the area, our way out is completely blocked.
Vamos ter que passar despercebidos, com calma e silenciosamente.
Oh, that's never gonna work. One little slip up and it's game over. If they spot us, they'll run straight back to Rerir. And once he knows we're here, it won't be long before he's breathing down our necks again.
Seja como for, ainda temos que tentar.
Oh, guess you're right. All right, time to zip it. Quick, hide! We almost got spotted. Phew, that was a close call. Watch out! It's coming this way! Keep going. We're nearly there. This is the final hurdle. Oh, there's no end to these things!
Não podemos continuar assim. Com certeza deve ter outra saída.
Fire.
Fire? Wait, what's that smell? Oh no! There's a fire!
A caçada feroz foi rápido.
Zandrone was right. You look weak, Columbina. The old you would never have let such lowly creatures bar your way. Word has it that you did something for the Tsaritsa, and that's why you've lost most of your power. Freedom comes at a heavy price, doesn't it?
It's Arlecchino! You came!
Hello again, Columbina. And greetings, guests of the House of the Hearth.
It's been a while, Arlecchino.
Stupid right here of stupid Solnari. Ugh, whatever. I've got all the data I need. Next time we meet, you're finished. He sure doesn't pull his punches.
Excuse me, do you need a hand?
You can do me a favor by staying out of my way. Can't you see I'm busy? Wait a minute. I recognize that voice.
Hello, Miss Sandrone. Father sent us over to help.
How considerate of her. Hey, Fremine, get over here and help me fix this. Lenny, you do your thing. Just keep your sister away from my machines. Nearly every machine that cat girl touches ends up going haywire. Go put her on cleaning duty or something.
Then let's start downstairs. Fremine, we'll leave this place to you. You've got it.
Wait a second. Pretty sure there's still some tea in the cupboard. If you want some, you'll have to make it yourselves.
It's a relief to see you all made it back in one piece.
Huh? Feels like there's quite a few people missing. Where's Flint's and the others? And what about Nefer?
I returned ahead of them. Flint is helping Aino and Anefa to set up the decoys and buy some time. As for Miss Nefer...
Boss is still wrapping things up on her end. She sent us back to fill you all in on the top secret intel we've been gathering.
I see. Then let's get right into it. But first, who do we have here? You brought someone else in to help?
Greetings. I was invited here to help as a longtime Tea Party companion of Columbina's. You may call me Arlecchino.
Surely it can't be.
Those eyes. Oh, where have I seen them before? Wait, of course. In those memories we just saw.
The only Arlecchino I know is the fourth of the Fatui Harbingers. So either you share a pretty uncommon name, or you're more than just a Tea Party buddy.
You are well informed, Grandmaster. A man from Mondstadt living all the way out here in Nod-Krai, and yet the people and affairs of Snezhnaya seem to hold a special place in your heart.
Oh, the feeling's mutual. Sounds like you know all about who I am, too.
A Fatui Harbinger.
The atmosphere in here just got really tense. Guess we can't just start trusting Fatui Harbingers, even at a time like this.
I must admit, though, I'm a little curious. Seeing as the Moon Goddess no longer belongs to the Fatui, what makes you so willing to put your neck on the line here?
Nor does Nod-Krai belong to Mondstadt, Mr. Varka. Yet still, you're fighting for it all the same. Things don't always have to have a tangible payoff. Sometimes, stopping things from spiraling out of control is a higher priority than chasing the spoils of victory. Of course, I can't say there's nothing in it for me at all. But that's between Columbina and myself.
Arlecchino foi fundamental para nos ajudar a salvar toda Fontaine. Tenho certeza que podemos confiar nela.
Forgive me. I don't mean to doubt you. It's just that the Fatui really have been the source of many of our troubles. We have our own way of doing things here in Nod-Krai. But ever since they arrived, the Fatui have treated us with nothing but hostility.
I know there's been a lot of bad blood between us in the past. I've done my utmost to avoid friction whenever I could. But sometimes fundamental conflicts of interest simply can't be settled amicably. That's why I'm here solely in a personal capacity. This has nothing to do with the Fatui. As a gesture of good faith, I'll be frank. I can help Columbina track down the iridescent moon's marrow, which will help her restore more of her power. Anyway, what else is on the agenda? Let's begin.
She says she'll be frank, then completely skips over the details. Looks like she doesn't want to give away too many secrets after all. But she clearly wants to change the subject. It'd be awkward if I tried to bring it up again now. I guess we'll just have to go along with it. She's the fourth of the Fatui Harbingers after all. One look and you can tell she's not someone you'd want to mess with.
Well, since Miss Arlecchino sounds confident in her ability to handle that, we'll proceed to the next topic. Yehoda, time to share that top-secret intel.
All right, listen up, everyone. First, we now know that Rerir was originally a Conrian secret agent whose primary mission was to hunt down and assassinate the so-called Dregs of the Crimson Moon.
The Dregs of the Crimson Moon?
Mm-hmm. In the memories, there was a lot of talk about the Crimson Moon and Eclipse, and a whole bunch of other stuff from the time of Conria.
To my knowledge, those were the names of 2 different Conrian dynasties. Long, long ago, it is said that the people of Conria worshipped the Crimson Moon, drawing a mysterious power from its reflection. But one day, a coup saw the Crimson Moon eclipsed, hence the name of the new dynasty that replaced it, and how it became the new emblem of Conria.
Still, long after the Crimson Moon dynasty had fallen, the last ruler of the Eclipse dynasty, the Vinster King, still coveted the secrets it left behind. So, he sent the Rehir of Solnari to secretly hunt down the Crimson Moon's few remaining followers. In those days, Rerir showed no signs of madness. In fact, he was as normal as any other person. Oh, and he had a fiancé, or at least a would-be fiancé, called Tholindis.
Tholindis?
What's the matter?
Logo depois que Rerir recuperou seu corpo, ele gritou esse nome.
Verfnir, Rhindaughter, Tholindis.
Interesting. Anything else? What about this would-be fiancé of his? Do we know anything about her?
Well, she was a researcher at the Universitas Magistrorum, but it felt like she was hiding some kind of secret.
Oh, and one more thing. For some reason, Rerir's fragment also contained some of Tholindis' memories, though only a very small portion.
Well, no shortage of potential leads, I'll give you that. In any case, it sounds like we can conclude that while Tholindis was still around, Rerir appeared to be lucid and quite normal. Tholindis, it seems, must have been the one thing in this world that he couldn't let go of. Tell me though, were these pure-blood Conrians we're talking about here?
Why do you need to know that? Hold on. If she was a pure-blood Conrian...
A maldição da imortalidade. Ela pode ainda estar viva.
Oh yeah! Just like how it was with the captain!
If we could somehow find her, do you think there's any chance Rerir might regain some of his sanity?
It's possible, but it would take a miracle. We can't pin all our hopes on that. That merchant who Nefer knows, Dori Sangama Bay. Maybe we could hire her to look into it.
All right then. Let's keep working in our separate teams. Traveler, Paimon, Kutar, and Miss Arlecchino will go look for the iridescent moon's marrow. As for the others...
On the way over here, I noticed that the Wild Hunt monsters had grown even more frenzied in their search for Kutar. At this rate, the people living here will be in grave danger too. So I'm thinking of gathering together some of our followers to go wipe them out.
I'll head back to the curatorium and meet up with the boss.
Feels good knowing we've all got something to be getting on with. Given that the Wild Hunt has been a lot more active lately, the Lightkeepers have likely begun their own operations too. If that is the case, someone will need to pass the news on to Flint's. I'll hold the fort for now, then discuss our next move with Flint's, Aino, and Anefa when they get back.
Alright then.
Well, the clock's ticking. If that's everything, we'll be on our way.
We'd better get moving too. We'll try to buy you as much time as we can.
Relax. Just do your thing. Now, I decided to call in some backup since things are getting so hairy. Our reinforcements should be here any minute now. Stay safe, everyone. Dismissed.
We're back. Did we get here a little early? Or a little late?
A tad late. The others have already set off. To summarize, our resident moon goddess has found us a new ally, and Boss Nefer has uncovered some promising info. Everything going smoothly on your end?
Not great. I don't know how long we can stall them for. The decoys are getting taken out way faster than we imagined. I'm gonna make some more later, but I need a timeout first. I'm so tired right now. Oh, right! Ineffa, could you fill in Uncle Varka on what we just discussed with Flints?
Sure. Uncle Varka, you previously told us about how when you went to investigate a source of the Wild Hunt in Amsvartnir, you discovered that it was just a diversion. But according to Flints' intel, several outbreaks of the Wild Hunt had already occurred in Nod-Krai in the period leading up to that. That was before Rerir had regained his body, when he was far from regaining his full strength. In other words, in theory at least, he still lacked the means to act in two places at once.
Flints, with everything that's been happening, the Lightkeepers across Nod-Krai are rallying to fight back against the Wild Hunt. They're gonna need your help. I know, I'm sure you're capable of coming up with something far more effective than decoys. But for now, you should stay here and get some rest. Ineffa and I will head back over to Amsvartnir to see if there's anything I missed.
I told you Uncle Varka would say that, didn't I? A deal's a deal. Not a word about my snack intake for the next week.
Database updated. Reliability of Aino's predictions increased.
What does that mean?
They were betting on how you'd respond after hearing their intel.
It's the obvious choice, isn't it? That's hardly worth betting on.
We already decided that Ineffa should go investigate the situation over at Amsvartnir on her own. You might as well stay here and keep watch. Someone needs to hang back and oversee our strategy meetings. And besides, you still haven't fully recovered from ambushing Rerir.
So I've ended up with the easiest assignment. Well, I appreciate it, everyone. See you when you get back.
Here, this will serve as a good spot to cross over.
Arlecchino, hold up a second. Since you brought us all this way, would you mind telling us what you've got planned? We still haven't got the slightest idea what's going on here. And if even Columbina doesn't know where the iridescent moon's marrow is, how do you?
Simple. Because I am an inheritor of the royal bloodline of the Crimson Moon. And one of the last surviving embers of the Two Worlds' flames.
Huh? Are you serious? Isn't you're a descendant of that Crimson Moon dynasty we were just talking about? The one from ancient Conria?
Your surprise is understandable. I was also taken aback when I first learned of it. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized the signs had been there all along. When I was young, I discovered I could wield a very special kind of fire. It coursed like blood through my veins and smoldered away inside my nerves. What's more, whenever I experienced strong bursts of emotion or drew too deeply on this power, it was like some kind of presence within the fire would begin to gnaw away at me, consuming me from the inside out.
Suas mãos.
Exactly. That is why my hands are like this too. At first, I saw it only as a curse, but once I became a harbinger, the jester apprised me of the truth. Together with my own investigations over the past few years, there are several things that I have gradually come to understand. For instance, Take the so-called Crimson Moon. In truth, it is nothing more than the shattered remnants of the iridescent moon, fused with the abyss to prolong its lifespan. Since this blood flame was bestowed upon me by the Crimson Moon, it is a fusion of the iridescent moon's former power and the corruption of the abyss. You all understand the nature of the abyss well enough. I draw upon its power, and in return, it hungers for my soul. This strange blackness is the mark of corruption it has left behind.
If I recall correctly, you once told me that if the corruption ever made it to your heart, you'd become a completely different person.
Yes, and that's the reason I'm always careful not to push my power too far. It's essentially a never-ending tug-of-war.
Oh, sounds intense.
Anyway, the rest of my story can wait. Is there anything else about the Crimson Moon or the Iridescent Moon that you're unclear about?
Paimon has a question. So, the Crimson Moon that the Karians used to worship was actually the Iridescent Moon, right? Which was one of the three Moon Sisters. Does that mean that the Karians were to the Crimson Moon as the Frost Moon Scions are to the Frost Moon?
So much of that history has been lost. We have no way of knowing exactly what they were like. But I would suspect that the Conrians weren't as devout in their moon worship as it might appear. The iridescent moon's remains simply served as their link to the Abyss. Later on, perhaps someone discovered a way to make direct contact with the Abyss. Or maybe there was some kind of ideological divide. Either way, a dissenting faction staged a coup and drove out the royal heirs of the Crimson Moon dynasty. Still, even with the dark sun looming high overhead, the Crimson Moon's glow never truly faded. If you want living proof, it's standing right before you.
The first time we met, I sensed something familiar in your presence. When I looked at you, I felt I could see that mysterious red moon in the corner of my eye. In your flames, I saw its broken image, surrounded by a strange black aura.
Well, I appreciate that you kept it to yourself. Much about the Crimson Moon is still a mystery, and I'd prefer not to end up as the object of an insane research project. Anyway, time is against us here, so if there's any other questions, they'll have to wait. I just want to make sure I've got one thing straight. In her letter, Sandrone mentioned that since you are unable to contain the iridescent moon's marrow yourself, you intend to leave it in my custody. Correct?
That's right. For now, it's the only way I can pay you back for your help. The iridescent moon is already part of who you are, so with its marrow in your possession, you'll be even more powerful than before.
Deal. Then let's get started.
Get what started? What does this place have to do with the Crimson Moon?
When I first became a Harbinger, the Jester gave me a book called Parenheri, also known as Leobranto Inamorato. You should be able to buy a copy next time you're in Fontaine. It's a love story set in the Crimson Moon era. But setting aside the tangled romances of its characters, it also records a few interesting details. In the Crimson Moon era, or so the story goes, there was an orphanage that received children from beyond the bounds of this world, and subjected them to a peculiar induction ceremony.
Beyond the bounds of this world? For real? And what kind of induction ceremony?
The Crimson Moon sages looked beyond this world for beings with powers that surpassed the gods. But fearing they might lose control, they subjected these children to a process of refinement. They made these children crawl up a fireplace and kept asking them, "Have you died? Did you see it?" Until they finally admitted to having died and seen a crimson moon. The adults embraced the children who passed the ritual, telling them, "Within the fireplace, you have traversed the flames between two worlds. Here and now, you are born anew."
The book leaves much unsaid. But I suspect that this was their way of branding the children they had enrolled, leaving an indelible mark upon them so that they would forever live in the Crimson Moon's light.
That explains why I can't sense the Crimson Moon's marrow in this world. It makes sense that it would be sealed in a special space that can only be accessed temporarily through some kind of ritual. But there's no fireplace here! Do you see a chimney anywhere? Oh, are we supposed to build it ourselves? Okay, fine. Paimon will go find some bricks.
That won't be necessary. The fireplace is purely symbolic. The key to the ritual is crossing the flames between two worlds. In other words, the flames that burn within me. Those burned away by such flames leave behind a kind of ghostly afterimage in the world. In the days of Conria, people believed they could be used to bridge the gap between the two worlds of life and death. In short, I can open a passage to that space for you. That's the easy part. The catch is I'll need to stay on this side to keep the passage open, so I won't be able to come with you. Once you're inside, you'll have to find your own way.
Entendido. Não se preocupe, a gente cuida disso.
Very well. Then I'll open it up.
Traveler, spare me a little more moonlight if you would. I may need it. Thank you. I feel like I've recovered some of my strength now. It should be enough to move us across short distances and confront whatever dangers might await.
Mistress of the seven hues of ages past, great mother of the present, crimson-clad sovereign of the two realms, by fire severed, by fire renewed, I offer myself now and beseech your descent. One word of advice. As you're crossing over, no matter what voices you hear, do not answer.
Got it! I sense a sinister gloom inside, but also the familiar light of the moon. I feel that I am about to meet an old friend who has changed beyond all recognition. All right, let's go.